Halito and greetings. I am Phoenix-Ism, owner, designer at Phoenix-Ism, and I am here today to use this beautiful faceted citrine piece, the citrine stone here. Very beautiful. And what I'm going to do with this is make a ring. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah. So, if you want to learn how to make this beautiful, simple prong set citrine ring, then of course, stay tuned. All right, so there are some things that you are most definitely going to need to do this. I am using 18 gauge square wire today for the base or shaft of the ring. Also, you're going to need whatever faceted stone you decide you want to use. This stone is, let's measure it on the metric side of this ruler here. It is about 1 metric centimeter. So I have about, we're going to do this inches side. About 4.5 inches of the 18 gauge square wire. I also have some 24 gauge para wire here from Para Wire. I really like this wire that I've gotten. My first time trying it out, and it's not too bad. So as you can see, I've been using it quite a bit. But we're gonna use this to bind those together as we go along. And you're also gonna need your chain nose, your flat nose, your flush cutters, your round nose. And if you have this tool available, I use it from time to time when doing my prong sets. And so this is a prong setting tool. I don't know if it has an actual precise name for it, but we're gonna call it a prong setting tool today. All right, so what we wanna do is take those two lengths that we cut already previously, and again, remember it is a 4.5 inches long length of wire here. We want to make sure that they are as flush as possible to one another. All right, so there is a way that I like to do this, and as you can already see, like I kind of wiggle and move it around a bit just so that I can kind of get them as straight as possible, or find out which sides line up close to each other better. And from what I see here, it's this side. So I'm going to go ahead and give them some slight movements here just so that they can get acquainted with one another, get used to being side by side. And if anything needs to be turned or adjusted, this is the time to do it. Now this does also stiffen this wire up. It's a dead soft, so the more you move it, the more you manipulate it, the more stiff it gets. So I am the type of person that likes to eyeball things. So this looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna sit that down in the way that we have went on and manipulated it, moved it, and got it all close to each other and loving on each other. We're gonna leave that there. And then we're gonna take our 24 gauge here. Go ahead and, excuse me, get this opened up here a little bit better than what we had going. Okay. So I know that seems like a little bit of wire, but we don't need a whole lot right now for this type of work that we're doing. Let's go ahead and move our piece to the side over here. Hey, let's sit it over here because you are awesome, right? You're awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I greatly appreciate the subscribing, the liking, the sharing, all of that goodness. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so we just want to find the middle. Okay. We want to find the middle. We know the middle is about here. We don't have to grab a ruler unless you just really want to grab a ruler. But we want to start toward the end here. I like to leave a tail. And I'm going to wrap with that tail first, okay? Just to get it positioned the way that I would like it. I believe we're going to go ahead and make about a size 7 or maybe even a 6. I'm not too sure just yet. I probably need to figure that out like right now, huh? I think so. And we can go ahead and cut this off because we're only gonna wrap to about here, which would probably be about 2 full inches. Now, one of the ways that I like to decide and figure out what size I need for or how much I need to wrap, I should say, for a ring, I like to take my ring mandrel here and I'll take my ruler, sometimes something like this, something that bends and adjusts, or even a what's the other one, the ribbon ones, and I take it and I put it right there where that inch mark is, and I'll bring it around. I know other people have other tools that'll help them to do this. I don't. So I use what I have, okay? And that's the reason why I like doing these tutorials like this, so that you can kind of get in the habit of using what you have. You don't have to fret not having certain things that other people have, or like you feel like you have to do things the way someone else is doing them. You do not have to. So with this here, I can actually see through it, which is wonderful. Appreciate the ruler at Fire Mountain Gems. Thank you so much. We know now that, okay, we have 2 inches here. So you got 2 point, looks like 2.6. Okay, 2.6 inches here. So now we can open our ruler back up. And yes, I'm sorry, you do need a ring mandrel. But I'll make sure I put that in the description below, as I always do. All right, so you want to go to where you're starting, or even just, you know, with the piece, just to know where to go. And you want to go to about here. So pretty much what I said. And if you want to mark it, you can mark it with a permanent marker. Fine one if you have one. I'm gonna keep my finger there and get that top off. And then you're gonna want to just mark it there. Come on, give me both sides. There we go. And I'm also going to mark here just in case it moves a little, okay? Always make sure that you're doing your markings on the part that you intend to be on the inside of your piece, okay? All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap, okay? I'm gonna put this up so it's not in my face a bit. And so I prefer to wrap a little bit slow in the beginning, just to ensure that everything is where it needs to be, that the base wire is not turning. And then I'll begin to just rotate the piece with my fingernail sitting there. And it makes this process go just a little bit faster. Putting the finger there ensures that you'll get it very snug and close to the wrap that you're doing. It'll be nice and close. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping this upward up until our mark for a size 7 ring. And we'll be right back with it done. All right, so we have wrapped it up to each point where they need it to be. I'm going to take my flat nose now, because this is not a flat or half round, I should say, wire, which would work wonderfully. But because we don't have that today, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of smash them down. Just make sure it's on there good and snug, that it is flush to the base wire. And it is, so we are very happy about that, right? So I cannot tell you how much of this wire I just used to wrap. I would advise doing the same thing that I just did. Leave it on the spool and, you know, working that way. That way you can make sure you have enough. I'm going to cut just a little bit more than on the other side so that we can bind those pieces together when that time comes. All right, so now you want to go ahead and grab your ring mandrel and you want to go to the size that you want it. Again, keeping these tails on the inside is very important here, okay? So you want to take it up, get a good bend. And because we measured this, we'll be able to go ahead and bend these the way we want to. But of course, I have to make sure first, so I'm gonna overlap them over top. And it looks like it's perfect. Looks like they're gonna meet. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it off the mandrel and grab my flat nose again. Well, before we'll hold off. This side, I believe, can be cut, but I think I'm going to use to secure them just a little more. So you want to take each of those base wires on both sides, and you want to begin to bend them down. You want to keep the wire straight so that you can go ahead and sit your piece on there without a problem. Again, we can lift this up, and it looks like we're gonna have to turn it anyway, so go ahead and turn it. I'm gonna open it back up, and now we can bend the other side. There we go. And one more over here on this side. Okay. And the other side, the same way. All right. So the objective right now is to keep these flush. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut the little tail off. So we're gonna go ahead and utilize the longer one in just a moment. Okay, right there in the middle. And then pinch it on down. Okay. There we go. All right, so with the ring mandrel, we're gonna line these up. Hopefully it'll just be a size 7 and we won't have to make it a 7.5. There we go. So we might have to bend our pieces down just a little bit more. Let me see what we can do here. Yeah, we can bring them down just a little bit more flush to the weaving part, and if need be, you can always undo a little bit. Get in there good and close. Nope. And you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. That's what I love about flatheads. You can get very close. Very close. You just gotta do this side and then flatten it out. Perfect. Now, my little wire here lifted, so let's, as a matter of fact, I am gonna move this a little bit. At least one, because I want to be able to secure it with the other wire. Okay, size it again. All right, looks like we're gonna have a 7.5 here. No, looks like we're gonna have an 8. And that's fine. So now you know when you're measuring them, go a little bit under to account for the base wires as well, which I didn't keep in mind here. So, but it's okay. We'll just make an adjustment and keep it moving. We'll just make a size 8 ring. All right, so we want these flat and flushed side by side. So I'm gonna take some time to turn these. Sometimes they'll use something like a mallet or something to bend it into shape, or just to flatten it to where you want it. I just want them side by side and close to one another right now. All right. So with that, we got them lined up for the most part. We want to do the same thing we did earlier with the base wires and keep them flat and straight and snug to one another. Okay. So, my husband. All right. Do the same on this side. Flatten it out. Turn it the way it needs to be turned. And keep them close as possible. Okay. Getting there. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So, again, on this side, just to be symmetrical. Now, I have a tool that I like to use that helps me a great deal when it comes to keeping these straight. So I'm gonna wrap just one on either side, and I wanted to move this one here for that reason, so that I have enough space to be able to take it under and be able to wrap this side one time. But I wanted to bring it around and bring it across so that we can secure it. Okay. So now at this point, of course, you want to turn it over. Go ahead and get rid of this small tail. And I'm going to do it right here so that we can eliminate some scratching and things. So I like to take my smaller chain noses with the curve to help me with that part. Okay. And I'll be introducing another tool in just a moment. So we want to just look, and I can't even see it. Oh, there it is, because I felt it. We want to go ahead and make sure that it is flush down. Okay. And that it's not going to scratch or nick anybody. Okay. And so we're going to take this one back around and do the same. But I'm going to crisscross it over. Okay. And give it another. And we're going to flatten that down. Okay. And I put it in front of the other one. Same thing I'm going to do here is bring it in front. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and secure it down by wrapping it once and then twice in between these here on the band. Okay. You squeeze it really good so that it goes between. Okay, take it over the front and squeeze it down. Hope you can see that okay. There we go. Getting some overlapping issues here. There we go. And once you get it snug where it needs to be, since we had moved 2 of those wraps from the weaving wire, the 24 gauge, now we can take it and cut it, snip it short here. Make sure you don't cut anything else that may be there. Okay. Then you want to take your pliers and go ahead again and push it down. Make sure it goes in there snug. I wrap it around or squeeze it around and let it disappear. Okay, so there we have that. This tool is something that I love using. It's to help you set your rings. I don't know what it's called, but I love it nonetheless. I'm gonna sit it here in the middle, and you slide the wedge right there in between, and it holds the ring in there quite comfortably, if I should say so myself. It makes it really easy to work with. And now I think I'm gonna have a dilemma. I'm gonna have to put you guys in my lap just a little bit in order to do this next part. So here we go. All right, so here we are. And I went on and draped something over my legs because I have some really tiny shorts on today. It is a hot summer day here in the beautiful natural state of Arkansas. What we're gonna do is open these prongs on up here. Just go ahead and move them. They don't have to be very perfect at this moment, being that we just want to kind of get the shape going and get it on in there. You want to at this time kind of measure out where things would be sitting. All right, so this is about the setup that we're going to have here, and we kind of know I'm gonna turn it this way because it'll help us out a little bit better. Matter of fact, let me see if I can flatten the top part just a little bit more for you here. I'm gonna take my flat nose to do that right in here, just to make sure. Yeah, very flat. Okay, so I know a lot of people use cabochons and things like that to make these types of rings, and I have, and they're beautiful, but I want to utilize these faceted pieces that I have. Guys, remember my last video, I think I told you guys that I'm self-taught, and I really appreciate all the beautiful tutorials and things that people are putting out there selling, and Patreon accounts and everything, where people are really taking the time to teach and give us the information that we need to be successful in our endeavors and the things that we want to do. I really enjoy making jewelry, and I wanted to take classes and things, and then COVID happened, but prior to that I was still self-teaching myself how to do these things. And so I figure, hey, if I can do it, you can do it, and if I can help you like many other YouTubers and tutorial websites and things like that have helped me out, then yeah, why not, right? Why not share all that wonderful information that is obtained, right? Get it back positioned, right? Put myself back in the right spot here. Go ahead and put that wedge in here. I wish I knew what this was called, but I have no idea. All right, so here we are. Okay, here we are. All right, so remember when we used that Sharpie? We're gonna need that Sharpie again. Okay, you can take this piece, your piece here, and I'm gonna sit it on the top. Okay, up. Good thing I got this the way I got it, huh? Didn't drop down far at all, so we're good to go. All right, so we want to sit this here in the middle. I know a lot of people use like this putty, some type of a putty that they're able to sit their pieces on and get the same results, I guess, so that they can move things around the way they need to. In this step here, I am going to mark where the I was getting ready to say cabochon, where the faceted piece sits on each of the prongs, okay? I don't know why my Sharpie sometimes doesn't want to mark for me. So I have to give it some help here, okay? Yep. All right, so about there for one. Make sure it's turned right. It's about here for the second one. Come on, Sharpie, act right for me. Dealing with this Sharpie here. And, you know, open them up to where you want them to be, okay? Make sure that they're open exactly where you want them to be. This is the time to move things around and get it where you want it, okay? All right, I believe that's about it there. We gotta keep helping the Sharpie. It doesn't want to act right. Must mean that I need to go get some more or store it upside down where the fine point side is downward, so that some of that ink can go down to the point. It's on there, but it's really faint. All right, and then looks like the other one should be here. Come on, Sharpie. Just has to do me one, doesn't it? All right. Kind of see it here. Can kind of see it. Still gonna mark it though a little darker. Okay. There we go. And then this one's really faint. So there we go. Okay. And now we know. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and take our flat nose and bend them upward, okay? And once we do that, we'll be able to cut these down a little bit more. So we're gonna raise it up, get it in there on that mark, and raise it up. And make sure you keep it as flat as possible, which is the reason why we're using the flat nose to begin with, okay? And it's good to bring it up. Being that it's a faceted piece means that it's going to have a bit of like a V shape underneath. So this will help it to fit even better. Okay, get that one going there. And this one here. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up just a little bit more, just a little bit straighter. All right. So now we have these upward where they need to be. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and sit our stone right back in there because we have another step and another tool that is getting ready to be introduced. And again, all of the tools that we're going to be using will be down in the description because I am very aware that I did not tell you guys everything that needed to be used. So I'll make sure that I do that for you. All right, so now we're gonna take our piece and we're gonna go ahead and put it down here in between all the prong sets that we have marked and raised up. This part can be a little difficult as you're going to have to start positioning the stone where you want it, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and use my tools here to help me to position and get everything straight. Make sure that it is flat and flush, and it is. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze these inward just a little bit to kind of hold it just a little bit more snug for me, just for now. Okay. Now, a way to help this piece to stay, and I'm going to turn it sideways slightly so you guys can see here. A way to help this would be to mark about here where the top part of the stone begins to well, just where that line is before it starts to taper off a little bit toward the top. And you want to just kind of file it just a little bit to get in there and sit snug into that piece. It'll kind of snap in. So again, I'm going to go in again with my Sharpie all the way around and put a mark. I'm going to go ahead and take the piece out. Okay. And I'm going to sit it here on this. Oops. Well, it went back inside. Okay, not a problem. Because I want to do this on the inside of the piece, I'm going to go ahead and position it how it needs to be. It's about there. And I'm going to go tilt it a bit. And because we did that kind of bend on it, we kind of know where it needs to be, about right there. I don't know if my Sharpie gave me a mark here. Gave me something there. Okay. So yeah, I'm going with my Sharpie there. Okay, and we kind of can eyeball it here about where, and it looks like about there as well. So I'm gonna take my Sharpie in there and mark about there as well. I know to go a little bit under here. All right, and then we'll turn it around. Kind of look at where this is, or of course, you can always use your ruler. Of course, have a guide for you, just so you know where to go. So that's gonna be about there. Come on, Sharpie. Give me a mark. Okay, there. And I know this is a little tricky, but we'll get it. Excuse me. Come on now, ruler. There we go. All right, so about here. All right, so we have all our marks. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my stuff down and close my Sharpie up. So the tool that I'm going to be introducing, and I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly what it is a file, a hand file, just a little bitty something that you can get at your local hardware store. I got mine at Harbor Freight. They were very inexpensive. It's a whole set of about 10 to 15 of them or so, and they get the job done. So you guys, you don't have to go out there going and get nothing crazy and, you know, very expensive. So you want to utilize, got stuck. Okay, let's open this up and let's utilize the flat side here and go ahead and file just a gentle little line right where that Sharpie mark is, and you want to do that on all sides. Okay, I'm going to open them up a little bit more so I don't scratch and scuff the others. Okay, and you don't want to go too far, because then you create a chance to ruin the whole project by making the wire, what's the word I want to use? It weakens the wire. That's the word. I'm going to keep moving these out of the way so that we don't file each other. Okay. Let's get this side done here. I know it can be a little difficult sometimes, so just take your time. Get in there good. If you just got to kind of do one stroke at a time, then that's fine as well. You should get in there and go ahead and file it some more. Okay. So we got 2 more sides to do. that's a great one. That was really good. Okay, I'm gonna fix these other ones just a little bit deeper, because that was great. So now you see how it's creating that like slight little V shape in there. Okay, I'm gonna make sure this one's done good. Yeah. All right, last one. Okay, that's good. I'm also going to take this opportunity to cut down these long prongs. We know for sure we don't need all of that. That piece is not that big. So let's cut it down. Let's cut it down just a little bit here. And I'm not doing a whole lot so that we can have some stability, something to work with. So once we get the stone pretty much set the way we want it, then we'll get to the point where we can cut it down even more. But right now, we want to go ahead and lift a bit, put it back where it was before we started putting those other pieces in. Okay, or I'm sorry, not putting those pieces in, but cutting those grooves into there. So now we can take our piece and place it right back there in the middle. Okay, go ahead and turn this for you so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, I'm gonna use my pliers again, close them up, and just kind of help get it where it needs to be. Okay, make sure it's good and straight. And if you notice, you probably don't, I'm gonna turn it to the side so you can see here. If you notice, it has fallen into those grooves already, okay, which is awesome, a great sign that it is receiving its placement and its shaping. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and position it where it needs to be before we begin to bend those prongs. It just snapped right into there. That was awesome. All right, so you want to go ahead and take the prong and just move it up a little bit. Be gentle. Take your time and be gentle. Do not rush. All right, we're going to take this one and we'll work on opposite sides to help it lock down. Keep turning it around. Let's go here. Okay, and then here. All right, so we're going to check everything, make sure it's still in position, make sure it's in those grooves. Everything is good and where we want it to be. Yes, it looks like it here. Let's see here. That way and that way. Yeah, you're going to be doing some movement here. I know you guys seen my other videos where I've done some sets with cabochons, and I also did a cabochon piece with a faceted piece also, and it's set a certain way also, but it worked out pretty good. Yeah. All right, so we have it there. It is in position, pretty straight, not much movement that needs to take place. Just maybe to straighten it up just a little bit more. So what I want to do is, because some of our etching here that we did is not lining up. I said etching, but the filing that we did is not lining up. Like on this side, it's not really lining up. So I'm going to open this up. Okay, place the piece where it is lined up with these, where it should be. Okay, and I'm going to kind of flatten that out just a little bit and bring it up so that it sits just a little bit more flush to the stone here. Okay, just want it to be a little bit more flush there. So I'm going to do this side the same way. Okay. Get in there and kind of flatten that just a little bit and bring it up. Okay, just so that it's a little more flush to the stone here. All right, get it back where it needs to be, and looks good to me. And let's bend that back over. Okay, so this side pretty much did that. This side not so much. Let me take this one and bend it back as well, back to where we had it positioned. All right, get it in there. Okay. All right, let's turn it again. At this point, it's not snug, it's not tight, and we're gonna go ahead and make sure we do that right now. The way I like to do that is I open this up, and on either side, I just squeeze, 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 okay? And then you wanna go to the other side and do the same thing. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. It'll help that piece sit in there a lot more snug. There we go. I don't know if you heard it, but I got a nice little snap sound. That's what I like to listen for, to make sure my piece is sitting where I want it, how I want it, and doing what I need it to do. All right? So you want to adjust anything at this point. If you want to put your prong in a better spot, better angle, now is your time to do that before cutting. If it seems a little higher on one side, which it is slightly here, you want to go ahead, lift it up a little bit and make your adjustments. Okay. All right. This side's a little higher, which means I need to just pull, oops, excuse me, I need to pull this out just a little bit. Up. There we go. All right, let's get it flat and flush. Looks good. Everything looks good to me. So again, I'm gonna give it another bend down. Okay, that side's good. And as I begin to start bending them down into position, I'm gonna start cutting them. I'm going to cut them a little flush to the top of the stone. Okay, so let me make sure it is flat and where it needs to be. I'm gonna go ahead and take my flush cutters right there, adjacent to the stone, and I'm gonna snip. Okay, so there's the first prong where it needs to be, doing what it needs to do, and sitting there holding the stone. We're gonna go ahead over to this side here, and we'll do it there as well. All right, take it, bend it on down. Okay, making sure the stone is still positioned where you want it. It is moving a little bit, but we'll get to the point where we can really adjust things. All right, flat to the top of the stone again, and snip. Okay, those things are flying. That's my fault. I didn't hold it very well. All right, so now we can go with this side here. All right, and bring it down over the top. Everything is still straight and lovely. Yes. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Flush to the top and snip. Okay. The reason why I'm not catching and holding the prongs is because I don't want to be in the way for you guys to see what's going on here. So let's spin this one down top. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this moment to go around, kind of squeeze everything down. Now, at this point, you can use your prong setting tools, or if your pliers are working for you, by all means, use those. And right now, they are working wonderfully for me. So I'm not going to be using my prong tools at this moment. All right, so again, same thing, flush the top and cut. All right, so here we are with this type of setting going on right now. Okay, right now everything looks amazing. It looks great, except for the fact that we want to go ahead and start filing for them to be even more flat. Again, this is your opportunity to adjust if you need to adjust. Okay, if anything needs to be moved, this is your time to do it before you start putting the friction onto the copper, which will cause things to loosen up and move. You can take that same file and go ahead and round out those prongs. Okay, you can see that. You can also go this way, whichever way is comfortable for you. Okay, I also like to keep them about the same length, and because we have citrine, which is a very, very strong stone, we can go and shape as well. Now, if you have a rotary tool and you have the silicone bits for it, or Dremel pads, whatever you want to call them, you can use those. I do have one, but I prefer to get in here and do this as I see what I'm working with and move around. Sometimes they can be a little bit too much, a little too abrasive and get into areas that you really don't want them. Okay, so here, just gonna go on and keep filing and getting the prongs shaped all nice and pretty for the piece. Get some of those nicks off that we have from bending and readjusting and moving and all those things. So I am going to take my time and file these down, keeping them flush so that we don't nick anything or get anything stuck on them and all of that. And then I will show you the finished product. All right, so we are where we need to be. I'm gonna just take a little bit cleaning solution here to clean it up and get that dust and things out of there. Okay. Bit of a polish there, and there you have it. Let's see if you can see it good there. How was that, huh? That is our prong set. With the citrine faceted piece. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial, and that you will also take some time and try it out yourself. It's a pretty fun project. Doesn't take too long. It is a size 8 precisely. Okay. This is it. And of course, you guys know I'm gonna have some wonderful pictures of it for you to see in just a moment. There we go. That is is gorgeous. That is so beautiful. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoy my tutorials and anything else that I share, please like, subscribe, and share. Please, oh please, oh please. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much again. Yakoki, thank you. And until next time, be blessed, be prosperous in all of your endeavors and everything that you do. I send to you much love, peace, and gratitude. Until next time, Chippy Shalashake.